is just fantastic.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Hope you're having a marvellous day today. Sorry for this, my father is visiting and I'd rather hang out with him, but also want to upload because there's been a few things going on. It was either going to be the person harassing the 3 streamers, whose names I can't remember because they all look the same to me, sound the same, do the same content, and I really couldn't care less, but do about a principled aspect of it that may well feature tomorrow once more information comes out. Or one that'll get me more downvotes. That's right, Hasan Piker. Because damn you guys, some of you guys like him. That's fair. You're allowed to. It's a free world? Ish. Unless you're English, of course, in which case we gave that up after World War I. No, in this I want to talk about Hasan because he just can't help himself. He can't help but say things because he's a bit reactive, impulsive, and that's why he's a hipster. But also why he somehow managed to skirt the reality of violating terms of service on Twitch again. Because he keeps doing it, yet because clearly he has something on Dan, whatever his name is, the guy in charge of Twitch. I was going to say Aykroyd, but I'm pretty sure he's a Ghostbuster. Is it Dan Clancy, Tom Clancy, Clancy? That guy. Clancy. Yeah, that's his name. I assume he has something on him, watching him, I don't know, getting pegged while watching hentai. I don't know. He has yet to actually suffer any meaningful consequences, and that's what happens when you're one of the biggest streamers. You benefit from privilege. Not that Hasan would ever acknowledge it, because the only people with real privilege in society are those pesky white ones. No lives matter, everyone. It's the only thing that matters in this world. What I thought I'd do is show a clip of Hasan with his dumb little remark, go through that, go through a clip from Asmongold, reacting to the same thing, spoken by another person but not reacting to, well, initially to Hasan, and then another clip of Hasan coping. Because he does know how to mold. He's a good molder.
There's about $50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid, just in fraud alone. No.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott, okay? You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida Rick Scott, you wouldn't make him a prominent part of the Republican Party.
The problem with what Hasan has said is whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. It's the insinuation of, if you care about something, somebody has to die. That's not how you prove if you care. But I like the fact that he is really doing his bestest, to further the belief that there are some players on the left who would seek resolution through violence, through the ending of lives, because that is all that matters. To drill home a point, you have to be purity tested. A sacrifice to the gods must be made to quench the thirst. You know, blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. That kind of mentality. It's unnecessary, it's arcane. Not surprising, it's the first thing that comes into his head. Hasan is not thinking when he speaks. We know this because his usual way of handling problems or disagreements, and he has some information in his head, it can be useful at times, is that his solutions are always extreme. There is no middle ground, there is no balance, there's no nuance. It is either do this or you're that. He is basically Sith. I think they deal in absolutes, like the other peanut gallery losers. Your Hydra's not looking so strong these days, but you seem to be doing alright. Now, Asmongold had condemned this, rightfully so. You should not condone violence of any kind against another person. You really shouldn't. This was reacted to by another streamer, an orbiter, I guess, who said the following, and I'll be honest, it tickled me because he said something that was beyond cliche.
There's no other perspective to have. It doesn't matter what the perspective is. Like you.
What a bitch, dude. Honestly, what a little bitch to be like, oh, threatening violence against an elected official. I'm sorry, I'm a goddamn American.
I don't know who you are, but I'm going to start with the following. I don't care what you think you are, what you actually are. I don't care what you believe either, as long as you don't condone or consider violence as a viable solution or encourage it as a viable option to prove one's mettle and or worth. The moment you do that, you've lost any and all arguments. Oh, but I'm a goddamn American. Firstly, God not real. Second, I don't care what your nationality is. Your nationality plays no part. Don't try and use that as a thought-terminating cliche, because it is exactly that. Because I'm American, I can consider death on other people. Comments like that make Americans look like a third world banana republic.
I'm a goddamn red-blooded American. That is my right.
The problem you've got is, while it is your right to speak freely, it is not your right on Twitch. That's the key difference. Being American means nothing in this online space. Same applies to many platforms, in fact. Additionally, when you have the platform that Hasan has, it can be seen as an incitement to violence. Don't forget here, when Trump was leaving office after his first term, the word fight was considered haram by anyone that was Republican. If it was said by somebody who was Democrat, it was seen as okay and acceptable, and the word bled slowly back into modern society as acceptable. You have to choose your words very carefully with the privileged position that you possess, and Hasan has the biggest privileged position. Your nationality means sod all when you're a streamer, because you obey the rules of the platform. Your constitution has F all say in the matter.
The tree of tyranny must be watered with the blood of tyrants, or however it goes. The tree of liberty must be watered with the blood of tyrants every now and then, okay? Shut the fuck up.
I honestly have no idea who this loser is, and I'm not going to play any more of his clip, because he's trying to actually justify any form of violence against elected officials. Against any people, I would argue. You cannot condone it. I put it in the ballpark of doxing. Don't do it. I will never condone it. If you condone violence like this, you are on a slippery slope. But then I look at you and I realise you don't look the type, because you're the type, no doubt, to make the comments but refuse to back it up. You look like you're 5'6". Of course you have a Napoleon complex. You have an anger problem and you're too extreme. Calm your tits and have a biscuit, sit back down and be patient. Let things play out rather than react so violent, volatile. Volatilely? Yeah, that. Don't be that person. Now, Hasan had some other comments to make. We should probably get to those, because he's intelligent, guys.
The new meta is trying to get you banned for being mean to Rick Scott.
Personally, I think you need to reconsider what you said. Again, wishing violence on people isn't a good way of going about things. Yeah? And to anyone that now tries to defend, do try to remember here, if you've paid any attention to politics for the better part of 10 years, you can't do this if you're a Republican. You can't do this in my country at all. Doesn't matter which party you are. You have to be above it. So, in America, where this is now happening, and we're seeing how Hasan's handling being in opposition, we're seeing him push himself further to an extreme where it is acceptable to call for violence. I understand how passionate things are, but you do not get to justify that.
I wasn't even like being directly mean to Rick Scott. What I was saying was like, if the Republican Party truly cared about like monitoring medical bankruptcy, they would literally apply the capital punishment. Like if they did. They don't.
I like that you think capital punishment should be a consideration for anyone in any walk of life. I've said it before multiple times, even with the nonces. They should be on neutral oath with their genitals removed in a prison for the rest of their years. I cannot support capital punishment. I can never support it. Be the person that puts the extreme in the comments. Don't do that, by the way. I will still say no, and their life will be suffering. Low cost to the taxpayer. You trying to justify it with but if you're this, you must surely do that, is absolute bollocks. And you should be ashamed of yourself, Hasan. You should be ashamed of yourself.
And I mean, he is a world-class Medicare fraud guy.
I'll be honest, I don't care. If they've committed fraud, and they've been found to have committed fraud, then they should go to prison. If they've served their time, well then, earn your place back within society. I couldn't care less. None of that reeks of death. Can you imagine if we started that with those who committed tax fraud? Oh, you owe the tax man 20p. What are we going to do? Seppuku. Okay. Because that's how you restore your honor, everyone. Honestly. Hasan, you should be ashamed of yourself. You really are incapable of nuance. It's why you lose debates.
So you can cry about it all day, every day. You can cry about it, try to get me banned for it. Maybe I will get banned for it. Who knows?
You can always tell when someone's wealthy and too privileged, when they can be so flippant about their main source of income. Hasan makes good money on this. On streaming, from being violent, being volatile, from being, temperamental, all over the place. An entitled, hipster, lazy-ass reactor with weak tea political takes that always end up with him going to the extreme. I can hate the player for how he is. I can't hate how successful he is. I'm very jealous of that part. I wish I was that successful in 1 month. I could take one off then. That'd be great. Streaming on Twitch later tonight, by the way. Dawn of War, Dark Crusade.
But it's not going to change the dynamic or the reality. Not going to change what's going on. Same people crying about free speech in the UK? Yeah.
It's not a free speech issue though. That's where it's interesting, because in the UK you can't compare our situation to what you're saying on Twitch because you are bound by Twitch's terms of service. The UK doesn't have free speech. You as an American have free speech. On Twitch, you do not have free speech. People have been suspended for what their commenters say. People have been suspended for what they then say on Twitter, or X. Half the time, Twitch comes across as an authoritarian dictatorship, or in the case of you and Dan Clancy, dictatorship. Do not falsely equate my country, or England, mostly, with your precious privilege.
I can't believe we're being mean to billionaire Voldemort Rick Scott, who is responsible for the deaths of thousands and also did the largest. Him and X were crying about it. Yeah, they can suck my entire dick from the back. That's what I think, okay?
Don't brag about yourself too much. We all know you're packing a tiny tallywhacker. Based on your temper, I can be certain that comes from enhancements of the cheating variety.
Yeah. Dude. Rick Scott oversaw the largest Medicare fraud in the nation's history, okay? Yeah, go ahead, defend that, Asmongold.
No one's defending that, dipshit. They're defending the fact you're calling for violence. You can frame it however you want, but that is what you said. That is the vitally important aspect that goes over your head because you're too intellectually challenged. Let me guess, when you got on the bus to school because your dad was bankrupt, you were too busy licking the windows to get the chewing gum off it. People are going to defend you, and that's fine. Be skewed with your political interpretations, that's quite alright. I'm not making this a politics issue. I am making this a don't call for violence, it's beyond the pale issue. Anyone that wants to justify that with political nuance, miss me with that. I don't care about your quaint little politics. I care that people are being, this. Anyway, since we're done here, I'd love to know what you all think. Of course I would. It's a free speech comment section. Go knucking futs. Hope to see you on Twitch later. If not, have a cracking day. Thank you for listening. Except for Hasan, who can suck my noodly appendage from the back.